Welcome back, my loved ones. This is your guy, Seth Guru Baxter with Maker's Bar, creating 1 million leaders today for tomorrow. We are extremely pleased with our guest today, but before we do anything else, we're here today on the cusp of the firemen, the brave firemen, and many volunteers who have been doing their best to extinguish the fires. So we want to send out our appreciation and gratitude that the fires have been reducing day by day and that the winds have seen fit to calm down. So we send out our appreciation. California is not as on fire as it was before, so we send our love and appreciation, as well as this most auspicious occasion of having Martin Luther King's day today, as well as the inauguration. So we like to do our due diligence and respect and honor for Martin Luther King and what his dream was for our country, and that we are feeling comfortable enough that in these moments of chaos that we are looking to unify and create the love illusion that we all desire to unify ourselves as a people. In addition to that, we like to honor and respect the inaugural day, whichever side you land on. We at Maker's Bar are a bipartisan platform, and we like to just show appreciation and respect for all of those who have participated in the inauguration. Thank you for all of the volunteers, the assistants, the secret services, and we honor and respect our country on this day as well. Thank you so much for joining us today. I am extremely pleased. Some of you might have heard me say before, I'm extremely pleased, but you know, there's sometimes when your boy Garu, I get extremely pleased at a partner in crime, and the crime being the dad. So, so I am glad today we have a husband, a father, an investor, an entrepreneur, a life insurance specialist, as well as the upcoming Scott Zimmerman podcast show, which I am extremely pleased to hear about. And from the moment I was able to meet this gentleman, I knew that we had a kindred spirit. So, ladies and gentlemen of the Maker's Bar audience, creating 1 million leaders at a time, another great entrepreneur helping us to accomplish those goals, Scott Zimmerman. Scott, thank you so much for joining me today with Maker's Bar. We are really pleased to have you.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here, and I love your show, and it's really a pleasure. Thank you.
Absolutely. Well, Scott, I got to tell you, it's really a pleasure for me. I said, you know, sometimes dads, we have some little accoutrement of appreciation, but I think in other times like this, both of us being dad podcasters and in our respective formats, it's good for dads to unite who are on similar pages. So I thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Yeah, feeling is mutual. I think I know being a dad to me, and probably I know speaking to you, and I think a lot of other men out there, it's one of the best things that's ever. All success aside, that's the best thing, most important thing, and the best thing in my life. I'm so grateful to have children and be a dad, and I feel very fortunate.
Absolutely. Well, Scott, if you don't mind, before we get to your dad part, I'd like to give our audience a little insight to you. Scott, where are you native to, and where were you born and raised?
Yeah, no, thank you. I'm born and raised in Southern California. I haven't moved very far from where I am today. I was born in San Fernando Valley, in Granada Hills. And from there, I've moved really far to Westlake Village, which is about 25 minutes away. And I lived in Valencia, but it's all Southern California. Yeah, absolutely. So Southern California, I have an office in the Valley, Woodland Hills, and I also have an office in Valencia, California. And I travel for business too. Yeah.
And so those offices are a part of your current company?
Yeah, it's a part of my current company.
Yeah. Fantastic, which I'm sure we're going to get into. So being raised in Southern California, tell us what it was like for you, as far as your parental figures and some of your upbringing that began the road to where you're at now.
Yeah, growing up back in the day in the San Fernando Valley, which is the northern suburbs of Los Angeles, it was a very safe, boring. I'm in my 50s now. It was a boring existence. But it was the way kids grew up back in the day. You played outside till your mom called you, tell you to come inside, and that's what you did. You're outside all day. It was just different than it is now. So it was a really nice upbringing. I didn't grow up in a wealthy wealthy class, just lower middle class, but it was nice. I didn't know any different. We all 4 people shared one bathroom in our house. I didn't know any different. I thought it was great until things are just different nowadays.
Oh yeah, they're very different. And I got to say, shout out to the San Fernando Valley. When I first moved here to California, I lived in LA briefly, but as the San Fernando Valley became my launching pad for everything else California. So I say, San Fernando Valley gets a bad rap, but I live in Van Nuys and Encino and Tarzana. I love the valley.
Yeah, me too. My old stomping grounds for sure.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, oh yeah. And
yeah.
so from the valley, so you were raised in the valley, and what was your first endeavor into the path that you're on now?
Yeah, when I
First job, maybe?
yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, my first job, growing up in the valley, I always worked. When I was 13, I come from a working household. My dad got me a job selling flowers. He talked to some guy in the corner that was, he had a little flower business, and I worked for some guy when I was 13 for a year and a half selling flowers in the corner. I saved enough money to buy a new bike, and then from there, I just did. Well, I was a teenager, just little things. But when I turned 16, I got a job at a bagel store. So I was a bagel boy for a couple of years until I went off to college. Not that I went far, but and then from there, I did a lot of different things. I was delivered pizzas. I was a janitor, um, and just how I got started in this business. I was 20 years old, 21 years old. My my dad co-signed for a car lease for me. It was a car lease back in the day. Like it wasn't a cool car. It was a Suzuki Samurai. But I remember going home thinking,
I
oh
love
my gosh,
Suzuki Samurais. They were dope.
oh yeah, for about a week. And then the news came out.
Oh.
Yeah, it was cool for about a week. No air conditioner. Yeah, no air conditioner, vinyl seats. It was horrible. But yeah, what happened is when he co-signed for the loan for me, I just thought to myself when I got home, I said, "Oh my gosh, if something happens to me, my parents did not have a lot of money, so they're going to be stuck with this payment." So a friend of mine sold insurance. I went to him. I bought a very small life insurance policy from him to protect if something happened to me, my parents would have money to pay for this car. And the following year, I was in college and took a finance course. I bought an IRA from the same guy. It was $25 a month, nothing major. And he said, "Hey, when you get out, you should you obviously believe in this business. You should check it out." And his dad was the manager of the company, and I got interviewed and I got hired with straight commission. And it took me a few years to figure this business out, but that's how I got started in insurance. Yeah.
So at insurance at about 18.
I started when I was 22. So while I was in school, yeah. So I got my first car, but I bought my first insurance policy when I was 19.
Now,
From my friend.
Scott, everyone hears life insurance. Everyone hears insurance. We all know we have to have it. We all know we pay it for our automobile and our life. But I don't know that a number of people really grasp some of the details of life insurance. Would you mind telling us why it's important?
Yeah, I love that. And in my opinion, I could talk about insurance all day long, all the different things I do. I find it super exciting. I got more passion ever than I've had for it. But when it really comes down to it, all the different things that I represent, which is life insurance, long-term care insurance, disability insurance, and those things, they're all taking care of people that you love. Like, who wants to pay for these premiums? But if you love somebody, that's why you get insurance. It's just, and there's lots of different kinds of life insurance. So we can get in the minutia of that. But when it really comes down to it, it's people buy insurance because they love and care about somebody else. And that's really what it's about. Something happens to me, God forbid, my family or my loved ones are taken care of. They don't have to figure things out. They still have to figure things out, of course, but the money just makes it a little helpful.
So life insurance itself, so it's about caring for someone. And when you care for someone, you don't want to be stuck in a financial situation. Would you elaborate a little bit on that, if you don't mind, just for some of our viewers who I'm paying life insurance for my grandmother, she's 78, or my dad, I know he's getting up there in age, he hasn't had the best of health. I'm going to do his life insurance, or he's paid his life insurance. What the reason is for that, or what? Just for funeral expenses, or caring for people after they pass? Can you go into that process a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. When I've been doing this, so this is my 35th year. So a lot of people buy insurances for different reasons. One is They love somebody. They've got married. They want to protect their spouse. They have children. Some people want to leave a legacy, so they have insurance so that they can leave a legacy for their family. Some people, when you have a business and you have a business partner or partners, a lot of people they should have insurance on each other so that if something happens to any one of the partners, the partner that passed away the spouse is paid off, their shares are paid off through the insurance. So there's lots of different reasons why people buy life insurance. And really, when it comes down to it, it's also, there's so many different kinds of insurance. There's term life insurance, which is a very popular one. You're just buying it for a certain term. The 10 years, 15, 20, or 30 years, you can lock in the rates. And then there's permanent life insurance that goes on forever. That goes on to up to age 125. But they have lots of different bells and whistles. They can build cash value, lots of cash in there if they're set up correctly. And they're just there forever. So people buy them for different reasons. And I can really nerd out on this stuff, and if you really wanted me to, and tell you all the different aspects of life insurance, and all the things you can add to it. But it's just really what it comes down to, again, is taking care of obligations, taking care of your loved ones, and finding the right policy that fits each person's needs and wants. And I'll just add one more thing that, there's not any one company that's best for everybody. So State Farm's a great insurance company, and they have life insurance. And maybe that is a great policy, but there's not one company is right for everybody. Some people they have health issues in the past, or they've had cancer or diabetes, or their height weight ratios are off. So certain companies are best for certain people than other companies.
Now, there's two questions that quickly arise for me. Now I know this only because of recently with my brother, but explain the difference between term life insurance and paying insurance until you're like 125, I think you just mentioned.
Right. Okay. So term insurance has really no bells and whistles. Well, let me just say, term insurance, when you buy term life insurance, you're buying it for a certain term. So when you take out a policy, you can look at somebody's needs, or someone may say, I only need this for 10 years or 15 years or 20 or 30, whatever the situation is. It is the least expensive way to buy life insurance because there's no bells and whistles. It's just like car insurance. You pay for something, and if you get in an accident, it pays. Well, this is a life insurance policy that if you pay for it, and after you pass away, the money goes tax-free to your beneficiaries. So there's not a lot of bells and whistles. I mean, that's term insurance. So it's kind of simple. You're buying it for a certain term. And when someone buys a policy for a certain term, whether it's 10, 15, or 20 years, it's a year-to-year policy, or month-to-month, actually. They don't have to keep it forever, but it allows them to keep the rates level for as long as they want to keep it. When it comes to permanent life insurance, I say up to age 125, there's a lot of different types of policies. I won't bore you with the details, but when someone wants to buy a permanent insurance, there's variable life, which is one type of permanent. There's equity index life. There's whole life. There's universal life, and the list goes on. So it's like there's not finding out what somebody's needs and wants are. That's how you determine the right type of permanent life insurance that you buy. The policies can go all the way up to 125. I mean, let's face facts. Most people don't live to be 125. You can set these policies up however you want. They're really universal. I want a policy to go to age 90 or 95 or 100 or 110. So you can kind of play with it in the beginning and change it along the way. If somebody bought a policy that said they were paying the premiums to go to age 90, I want these policies to go to age 90, but they're really healthy and they think, oh my gosh, I'm going to live to be 100. You can just change the premiums up to make sure the policy goes to age 100. So you're not locked in at any time. And at the same time, you can lower the premiums on permanent life insurance policies to reduce the premiums and reduce the death benefit.
So Scott, you mentioned something I wanted to follow up on. So when you said about finding the insurance policy that's right for you, it seems to me the insurance agent tends to have a little more insight when hearing the potential customer describing, example, I want life insurance. So the insurance agent tends to ask questions to determine what's going to best fit them. So you would know as the insurance agent, how does the consumer know what's best for them? I'm in good health. Just say, for example, Joe Seth Garu, I'm 52 years old, 53 years old, and I'm in decent health. I eat right, all of that. How do I get the same information as you on determining the best life insurance policy for myself to get?
That's a good question. And I would say doing research, dealing with a broker, not that doesn't matter time frame. There's a lot of really smart people that have not been in business a long time, but asking the right questions for what's important to you. You know, nowadays with Google, you can kind of figure certain things out. But I feel like dealing with a really solid advisor that asks you all the right questions, steer you in the right direction. You know, just as a side note, like permanent life insurance is really important. People should have permanent life insurance because unless they know for sure, they just need it for a short period of time. But the difference between term insurance and permanent is a big difference in premium. Term insurance is really much more affordable, where permanent is more expensive. So sometimes it's playing with it a little bit, saying, how long do you need the insurance for? Oh, I want it, of course, till the day I die. But maybe you need more if you have young children earlier than later. So you may layer it where you buy a partial term insurance and partial permanent life insurance. So it's finding the right balance. It makes it affordable, make everybody gets their needs met and their wants, and making it so they're able to do it financially.
Now, along those lines,
Go ahead.
go ahead. Go
I
ahead,
was going to
please. I'm
say,
sorry.
yeah, I was going to say the last thing is, permanent life insurance is really important. But I see a lot of people who buy permanent life insurance, but they buy these really low numbers because an insurance agent sold it to them. In my personal preference and opinion, I feel finding out the right amount of insurance and getting the right amount of insurance is more important than the kind of insurance. Because if you have a family, you have loved ones, you want to make sure that they have enough to take care of themselves. Something happened, but my family's not going to say, oh my gosh, my dad, my husband, Scott Zimmerman, he had the best whole life insurance policy. It's not going to be about that. It's going to be like, he took care of me. I had the right amount of insurance. The type is never going to come up, right? So I know I may be talking in circles a little bit, but
Not at all. Not at all.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so I hope that made sense what I said.
It does. To me, it does. And I think as the observer, I think as a listener, I would understand that better too. So I think sometimes what I found out, I really went on a campaign to get my family to check into their life insurance because so my dad lived a long time, my mom lived a long time, but I see sometimes people don't know the importance on how life insurance is beneficial. And so I went on this campaign to talk to my brothers and sisters about get life insurance. I think it's important. But I found the places where we stumbled, as I see other Americans seem to stumble, is knowing which one is correct for them, determining which company will provide the best too. And then also in economic hard times, what's most affordable for me at this time with this type of insurance. And so the challenges I ran into was some of the stuff you explained. Well, I don't know. Should I get term life or should I get whole life? Should I get permanent? And that's why I wanted to engage in something. So it's not nerding out. My goal is definitely to really parse out information so people know the right questions to ask their insurance agent. And also begin to formulate what looks best for them, considering their plight and their finances. I think it's extremely important. And then, if I may even go a little political, I don't know all the time that minorities tend to get the importance of life insurance as well. And I like to have them have information armed to say questions about here's the type of insurance that I'm looking for. Can you do that? And have questions that direct them. And that's my goal in getting all the information parsed out as possible. Now, with, your company, StatCorp, CorpStrat,
CorpStrat, CorpStrat, yeah.
Would you tell us about it, please?
Yeah, sure. No, I love it. I have a business partner, Marty Levy. We've been in business for 25 plus years together. We have a team. We have a little bit. We got rid of our because of COVID and everything. We don't have a receptionist anymore. But we used to have 22 employees. We're down to about 18, and we're just a small boutique agency. We specialize in a few things. We're really big with employee benefits, health insurance for companies. When it comes to dental, vision, health insurance. All aspects of health insurance. That's what we're fairly known in that space in Los Angeles. We're one of the the bigger companies in that space. The name of our company used to be called Corporate Strategies for years. It's just a name. But we took over the signage on the building, and Corporate Strategies was not going to fit on the top of that building. So we changed our name to CorpStrat about 8 years ago, just to because we got the signage. In my space, I'm a partner in the company, but my specialty is the life insurance and long-term care insurance. But we're a small boutique firm. It's all about service and just doing the right thing.
Now, talking about a small boutique service, this is where your entrepreneurship came in. So how did you get started? Well, we know what got started in insurance, but I mean with CorpStrat in particular.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. I started off just working for an agency. I got hired on for my friend's father, and just as an insurance agent. And I was having a really hard time, but I figured it out. But then I went off my own, so it was just me and an assistant. And a lot of people start off that way, I would say that. But I had a really good friend of mine for the last 30 plus years, and he was doing the same thing. He said, why don't we join forces and build something bigger and help out more people? So we joined forces, and we started with 4 of us, 2 of us and 2 assistants. And then through the years, we just, blossomed up. We've stayed small, just, not to just be, to really be boutique. We try and separate ourselves. I know a lot of people say it, but we have amazing people. It's not myself, my business partner. We got an amazing team of people that have been with us. A lot of people have been with us. One person's been with me 29 years. I hired myself. And he's got one that's been with him 30 plus years. And we have lots of people over 20 years that have been with us because we just are really good at what we do. We care about people. It's not always about money. Money comes. We just try and do the best we possibly can when it comes to helping out people, doing the right thing, and offering amazing service.
Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just going to ask, going back when you said a boutique service. So boutique is specialized service, and since it's particularly with insurance, how did you come about getting some of your partners and talking about the beginning of entrepreneurship? So you guys met and said, let's form this insurance company, offer these insurances, or how did that come together when you guys worked in the guidelines of entrepreneurship?
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, we started, through Marty and I, my partner, we started this together, and we had 2 separate companies that came together as one. And through the years, we've done a bunch of different things. We started a payroll company, which we still have. We started an HR company, which we still have. We started a life insurance settlement company. It's in the life insurance aspect that we still have. So we just started a lot of different things on that level. Also, when it comes to entrepreneurship, we were learning marketing, learning how to build a company. We brought in lots of different process and procedures from other companies that we've hired to help us get to bring it to just different levels. I'm not sure if I answered your question, but
I can follow it up with this, if you don't mind. So when you were thinking to expand, or you already had your own company, at that point, just before you got with your partner, Marty, what told you, I want to go this next level? So when an entrepreneur is thinking, I've grown this extent, what was the signal for you that said, you know what, we've been doing, what told you, yeah, let's partner up because it's time to grow? What was that linchpin?
I feel that for me, it may be different than Marty. I felt he was just one of the best insurancemen I've ever met in my life. And I thought he was just someone I really wanted to grow with. And he made I felt like to this day, we piggyback on each other. I'm better at certain things and he's better at certain things. So as a partnership, I saw that and he saw that. We decided to do this together so we can grow together. That's something we probably couldn't have done on our own. He dots his I's and crosses his T's like nobody else. And I do too, but not to his level. And I do other things. I'm more of a relationship builder and more of a people person than he is. So we just kind of saw each other's strengths and weaknesses and thought, I think we could do something. And we had another partner that was with us over 20 years that just left 2 months ago. And he's another person that really had something that we didn't have. So together, we just kind of built this thing together, just seeing what's missing, what's needed, how we can help each other and build.
So entrepreneurship, it also means collaboration. A big part of entrepreneurship is collaboration and finding the right synergistic partner. Because I myself find I can be the more creative person, and I need a partner who's more the minutia, detail-oriented person, etc. And that's what happened with you and Marty to form your company.
Yeah, by the way, I felt I didn't even give you the ammo for you to say that because he likes to deal with minutia a little bit more than I do. He literally likes certain things that I'm not good at, and vice versa. So you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. He's actually very creative. We're both very creative, but he's very creative on a marketing level more than I am. So it's just I don't know what the future brings for us, but in the past it's been really good, and I really appreciate him. Yeah, I hope he knows it. I hope he knows it. I tell him, but I don't. I feel blessed that he's been in my life. That's for sure.
And that's an awesome compliment. And hopefully he gets to see this interview. I'll
Yeah.
ask you, I will ask you, in thinking about feeling blessed and finding the right partner in our business, if you had to say challenges to becoming your own boss in entrepreneurship, what would you say was the first major challenge you experienced? Would it be financial? Would it be personal? Whichever first comes to your mind.
Yeah, the first thing, the challenge I would say is you only have so much time. When you're young and you're running hard and you're looking for opportunities, things do happen if you work really hard. What my first big, I would say, challenge was actually hiring my first employee. It was a big deal back in the day, just like you're just getting your business going, you're trying to make ends meet yourself, but you know you need help, and you go deep in your pocket and say, I'm going to try this out. I need help. And I think it's hard for entrepreneurs just to do that sometimes because they're running by the seat of their pants themselves, trying to make ends meet. Marketing, business, phone calls. Back in the day, it was not as much, not emails the way it is now, and social media, but it was just really difficult back then to make that first leap. And then you do it again, and then you do it again, and then because you can't do this. I mean, you could do things on your own, but you can only help out so many people doing everything on your own. I feel like when I talk to young entrepreneurs that are getting going, I think hiring people, getting help, makes all the difference in the world. And it is a big leap, and it is stressful, and it is scary. But if you have faith in yourself, I just feel like it almost always works.
Is that what you say is the key to it? Be knowing or becoming an entrepreneur, knowing inside yourself it will work, that confidence level, or is it somewhat the confidence is built by trial and error? Which one are those comes to the term entrepreneur?
Gosh, it's so funny you're saying this because I now I've been thinking about that a lot lately. I feel back in the day, it was like I really had to take that chance, but now I feel like just what I've been thinking about the last, I don't know, a couple of years. Some of it has to do with having faith and confidence in yourself, knowing that if you do the right thing, not everything works out. Not everything works out, but if you do the right thing and you believe in yourself and you believe in the things you're doing, I think it kind of people see that and it kind of works out to your favor. This is my opinion. I do feel people they see when you have confidence in yourself and you do the best you can and you always do the right thing. I just think that's when the referrals come. That's how you build relationships. And in business, a lot of times if you're not selling things on the internet, and my business is a people business. It's about building relationships. I'm not saying at all that I'm perfect and not saying at all that I've not messed up in the past at all because I have. But I think
We
just
all have.
yeah, just it's just people business, doing the right thing and saying please and thank you and following through with what you say you're going to do and over delivering that's kind of the key to business.
I completely agree. Over
Yeah.
delivering, I think, is one of the key factors that people miss, and what is one of the elements of making a great entrepreneur is overdoing, overworking. I think that's one of the things that's missing sometimes. And then making a great entrepreneur, you mentioned something that I find in my interviews with entrepreneurs, they continually say consistency and persistence. But followed along with that, you've mentioned it a number of times, is building that confidence, that self confidence. So where does that come from? Does that come from a spiritual faith? Does that come from trial and error? Does it come from you were born with it from the time you were two? You woke up and your first words were confidence.
Yeah, that's boy.
It
I wish
seems
that was
like
my
there could be a couple of things.
Yeah, no, I wish that was my case because that's definitely not the case. I still question myself. I've been doing this a long time. I still question myself. Um, I do
So
feel
that's
like,
okay. Let's stop there real quick. So
yeah,
Scott, so it's okay that you can be confident and still question yourself.
yeah, I agree with you. I question myself today. I think I'm the typical entrepreneur where, I've seen a sign like a life of an entrepreneur. There, it's the guy like it's a man or a female with the sign says, "Oh crap! Oh crap! Oh crap! Oh crap! Yeah, things are working out. Oh crap! Oh crap!" Like
I
but
like that.
the word's not crap. The word's, you know what I mean?
I like it. I didn't
Yeah,
see that.
you
I
know what I
like
mean?
that. Hey, you know what? That was me when I opened up my nightclub. But it's so funny. You said, oh, stop
It
it.
wasn't the right word though.
I
That was
gotta
not the
look
word I
for that.
said. Yeah, yeah. But
I gotta find that.
yeah, but then you
Go
get
ahead.
a oh yes, and then stress. Oh yes, it's working, right? And that's just I think it's the life of an entrepreneur. Yeah.
Oh, Scott, that's so funny. That's
That's
so
funny.
true.
It
Oh, Scott, that is
is.
so true, dude. That
Yeah.
is it's so true because when I opened up my nightclub, it's so funny you said that, and I hadn't seen the sign before, but I gotta share with you.
We'll
The
send it
first
to you.
few weeks, please do, Scott, because dude, I was like that. I called my dad. My dad was alive at the time. I called my sister. I called my business partner, and I saw the sign we put up in the nightclub, and I was just thinking, "Oh crap! Oh,
This is real.
Scott,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Are people coming in or not? Yeah.
yeah,
Highs and lows, right? Business highs and lows. Oh boy.
yes." Oh, dude,
Yeah.
Scott,
I'll send it to you. I'll send it to you, Seth.
please do. And I
Uh,
think that's the epitome in talking to entrepreneurs. One of the reasons why it tickled me so much is because we don't, oftentimes the entrepreneurs, we don't say that part, that that's included. It's the, oh crap. And then it's the kind of, yes, this is working. Okay.
yeah,
Oh
yeah.
crap.
And yeah, exactly. Seth, just
All
to,
right.
just it's kind of interesting. My wife, she owns a business. She has a successful business, and with these fires that are going right now, it's really affected her business. And she's more emotional than I am. I've been in business a long time, but it's a stressful time. Like things are going great, and sometimes they don't, and things just change. Sometimes you just have to, in my opinion, as an entrepreneur, if you can, because I'm far from perfect at this, is pivoting at the right times, changing at the right times, um, looking at different things, and doing the same thing over and over. That again, that's not working is they say is insane, right? Doing the same thing over and over and seeing no change is insane. So you do have to change. So I don't know. It is hard. I enjoy the process, and the older I get, I still feel stressed, and I still go through the highs and lows and the worrying and feeling the success one day and not the next. And I just think that's part of being an entrepreneur. It's a fun time. It can be fun, and at the same time, it's not. But if you look back on your journey, it's like, wow, this is super cool that I took that leap of faith in myself. Not right for everybody, that's for sure. But that's what it is.
You brought up a two-part question from me, Scott. One reverts back to an earlier portion, which you commented on, and then two is related, but of interest to young entrepreneurs. So the first portion of the question, how does a person determine what amount is correct for them for life insurance? How did they determine that? Is that, I'm curious what you say. Is it in 30s we should think about this, or in 50s you should? How does one determine which one is best for them?
Yeah, that's a good question. There's different ways of looking at it. There's lots of different financial calculators people can do. Lots of people, financial planners look at it the way I like to look at it. What if some people call and say, "Hey, I want life insurance. Something happens to me. I want my wife to pay off the house, my husband to pay off the house, whatever the situation is." But I feel it's more of an income replacement. So if somebody's relying on you for income, you have children or whatnot, if something happened to you early on, how would your spouse be able to handle not being there? So, and what would they need to continue on, whether it's keeping the house, paying rent, food on the table, college. So there's different ways to look at it. So I kind of look at it as like, hey, if somebody had, I'm making up numbers. Some people say, hey, I want 500,000. Where do you come up with these numbers? What are you looking for? Somebody had $1 million and they invested that $1 million. They were earning 6%. That would give them $60,000 a year, and they'd be able to keep that $1 million. That some people like that idea. Some people need more. Some people need less. Some people just want to pay off debts. So each person has their own way of looking at it. But I just ask questions to find out really what's important to them. So it's not an easy thing to say, here's how much you need. I have one more thing I'll say, Seth. Like I have 2 children. They're older now. I actually have a grandchild, my first grandchild. And my wife has four kids. So
Oh yeah, hold on, children. First
yeah,
granddaughter.
yeah.
Oh,
We
yeah.
got 6. And do you want to leave them wealthy? Do you want to just not leave them anything? Lots of people have different ideas. So I think it's a lot of personal preference too. What's important to you, especially when the kids get older? Do they need life insurance? Do you want them to have life insurance? Sometimes I don't want to get too into the weeds on this, but the government allows you to pass on X amount of dollars tax free. It's going to be going down, but right now there's a lot of wealthy people out there. But you could pass on as a married couple. Let's just round it down to $23 million tax free. But everything over that $23 million, there's a lot of wealthy people. I don't have that, but if you have over $23 million, and you leave this to your beneficiaries, they're going to have to pay 40% tax on whatever is over that $23 million. So if somebody was worth $30 million, they're going to have to pay 40% tax on that $7 million above the $23 million. So a lot of people use life insurance to pay for that tax. That's why there's so many different reasons to have life insurance, and the not wealthy need it just as much as the wealthy need it, for just different reasons.
I'm glad you mentioned that. I was going to ask you because so the wealthy have life insurance, but a person who's making about $50,000 a year, their life insurance premiums and what they're paying each month is different. So the person making $50,000 a year, should they be looking at something that equates what they're making in a year, an annual salary, or should they be looking at, well, when I die, considering the thoughts you said, which I think people need to hear, my wife, I want her to have the bills paid off. I want her to have some extra money and to pay for my funeral. Should they be thinking that way, to, like you said, for payment, or they're thinking, well, no, I only want them to just pay for my funeral. She's going to make her own way. They're thinking about the extras, correct?
Right, right. And, it's a good question. I want to give you a really direct answer, Seth. Someone who's making 50, in California, if they're making 50,000, yes, it's doable. You can survive. It's really hard, right? So you're probably most likely not going to be looking at permanent life insurance. You're going to be looking for that need, like, I want to make sure my spouse is taken care of and my children are taken care of. So on that level, you're probably going to go with a nice term insurance policy so you can get enough insurance. But looking at someone who's making 50,000 or a range or lower or a little bit higher, it's, to me, it'd be more important to find what's affordable that they could pay for every month without it really affecting them, and getting the right amount of insurance. And then we can back into, like, what do you need this insurance for? What's important to you? Burial insurance, you can buy a small burial policy for $25,000, a $25,000 policy for nothing. And by the way, a lot of people that I notice, a lot of people don't buy life insurance because they think it's expensive, or they think they've had health problems, or they think, I have high cholesterol, I'm never going to get it. And it's so easy nowadays to get life insurance, and it's really, really inexpensive. There's no reason that someone shouldn't have it if they can afford it. Meaning, I'm making up numbers. Someone in their 30s could get $1 million of life insurance for $20-something a month, $30-something a month. I mean, it's really inexpensive. Someone in their 40s, the older we get, the more expensive it gets. But it's definitely doable. It's really doable, finding a plan that fits each person's needs. There's no reason that somebody shouldn't get it. The last thing I'll say is, it's never been easier to get a policy than ever before. You talk to a good agent, they fill out an online application. Sometimes you're approved the same day, a week later, 2 weeks. It matters what your health is. It's a very fast, easy process. Sometimes it takes longer than others. Sometimes it can take a little while. Somebody's got some health issues, and the insurance company wants to write to the doctors and get all the medical records, and you need a medical exam. But a lot of times now, you can get up to $2 million of life insurance without even an exam, with the lowest possible rates, the same as with an exam or without an exam. But the insurance companies have really dialed it in. Not 100% perfect, but we can get approved very, very fast. And it's very simple. Yeah.
Now, it brings up kind of a quick question to me. We've heard with the California fires that some of the insurance companies have been canceling their insurance policies, etc. I haven't delved too deep into that, but it does bring up the question with life insurance for certain people, should they be concerned that their life insurance might be canceled without them knowing it? Are those concerns, considering the recent events with the fires and them canceling, are there guarantees toward life insurance that one might not experience considering what just happened with the fire insurance?
That's a really good question. They're totally separate. What I would say is life insurance companies you probably have never, because I've been doing this a long time. You never hear about an insurance company denying claims on a life insurance policy unless there was fraud. So if they're not going out of business. They literally have the insurance companies are required to keep assets assets there in the event something were to happen, a catastrophe. They have so much money put aside because they legally have to have the money put aside. So even if even during 9/11, when all those people passed away, they had most of these companies that they own all the buildings. They're really, really wealthy. They're really structured right. You've never heard of a life insurance company going out of business or someone bigger and better hasn't picked them up. It just hasn't happened in history. I don't know what the future is going to bring, but I can't imagine anything ever happening on the life insurance side because they're really, they're financially set up for this. It's all statistics. Yeah. They're taking in premiums for many, many years. They're taking premiums in, taking them in and investing the money, and they just really know what they're doing.
So that's good to know. And I wanted some of that reassurance because I think people began some distrust considering the recent cancellations. On the life insurance, before I switch gears, is speaking as an entrepreneur, is the life insurance game still a good business to get into where a person can make a good living? Is it still a good entrepreneurial venture for people to say, you know what, I saw the interview on Maker's Bar with Scott and Guru. I'm interested in life insurance. Is it still a good business venture to get into?
I would say I'm gonna say this isn't a personal opinion. Just what I've seen happening. So I've been in the business since I was 22. When I started going to insurance meetings, I was one of the younger guys there. Sometimes I don't go to very many insurance meetings any longer. Sometimes I go to meetings. I'm not the youngest guy, but I'm still one of the younger guys. It's like an old man business. Now is the best time to get into business. Products have never been better than ever, in my opinion. They've been before. It's easier for underwriting. It's just a really good business, and people need it. They really need everything that we do. It's like I said before. I love you business. Like I love you. That's why I do these different things. And people that's what this world is. It's about it's about love. That's what everybody wants in life is love. So our products just take care of people they love the most, including yourself. A lot of these products are selfish, right? A lot of these products are selfish. But I would say, as a young person, I talk to a lot of people. I think it is one of the better businesses to go into. You work for yourself. You help people. It's rewarding. The pay you could do as good or as little as you want, and it's fulfilling for sure, and it's not boring the way it sounds like it. I will say this: anytime I go to a party or I meet people, someone says, "Hey, what do you do?" Everybody's always interested in what other people do. Whenever I say, life insurance, I don't ever get a second question. Oh my gosh, tell me more. That's so cool. I've never got that once, but I do think it's a cool business. You know what I mean? It's usually, hey, nice to meet you. I'm going to go get a drink.
Oh, you know what? Now I got to try that at a party and go tell. I'm just going to say it for fun.
Yeah, you'll do it.
I'm in life insurance. I want to see. I like that.
That's funny.
I am curious because I've actually known quite a few cats through my years who were in the insurance game, and they were absolutely dope cats for me getting older. And they've taught me a great deal why it was so important. My dad and my father-in-law did teach me that. So I was really curious when looking at creating 1 million leaders as Maker's Bar's motto. I want to be able to make sure when they're looking at ventures, is this a venture that is worthwhile for them to get into? And I thought it was. But I was curious to hear from an expert like yourself to see that. And if it's still a good lucrative business when an entrepreneur can build him or herself into this game and make a successful professional life for themselves, and it sounds like they can.
Yeah, it's an amazing business. It really is. It may be a little bit hard to get started, but if you stick with it, it is very rewarding. That's the key. When I told you I got started in the beginning, it took me a few years to get going. It's hard to figure that out in the beginning. Like, what am I going to call my friends and my family to sell them life insurance? Yeah, you kind of do to let them know, but you don't have to sell anybody. But now I think it's easier than ever before with social media and different ways of marketing and AI. And I just think it's it's a really good business.
Good to know. Good to know. So, Mark, also tell us. Sorry, Scott, what were you getting ready to say?
Say it one more time. I'm sorry.
Were you getting ready to say something, Scott? And I missed it.
No, I'm sorry. I'm good.
That's all right. Now, Scott, now the life insurance, I'm really glad we covered it as much, but I do want to just switch gears a little. I'm very curious about the Scott Zimmerman podcast show.
Okay.
The upcoming gig. Tell us about that.
I'll tell you by the way, I'm in a room where it's kind of dark. Do you want me to turn on the light, or is it okay?
It'll be good. It could be brighter. That'll be fantastic. But I can see you pretty okay.
Okay, give me 1 second. I
Live
came
action,
upstairs.
make us smart.
Okay. Let's see if I can do this. Okay.
Oh, that looks good.
Okay, I do one more. Okay, see if this looks a little better. Okay. Better?
Yes.
Okay, gotcha. Okay,
Yes.
There we go. Okay, yeah, okay. Want me to start now?
Yes, please.
Okay, so yeah, I'm starting a podcast. I've actually done my first episode, and I'm gonna be doing them every single week. I'm committing to do this once a week for the next 52 weeks. It's called Nobody Told You This with Scott Zimmerman, me, and I'm gonna be interviewing. Yeah, I'm gonna be interviewing really top quality people, asking them information just on experts on health, marketing, business, life, where things that I'm gonna be interviewing, asking questions, where getting information that things that nobody told you, or maybe they have told you. Maybe these experts are saying it differently that you wish you knew, and can save a lot of time in life just to help people. Not talking about insurance at all. Just want to bring really solid, good information to people from experts that can help everybody.
Were you going to be doing it from your own website, or where are you going to be publishing?
I appreciate you asking. Yes, I have a domain, nobodytoldyouthis.com. And then I'm gonna put it on Apple. It's going everywhere. So my goal is to help out as many people as I can with information that nobody told you, or you wish you knew, or maybe you're just hearing it a third or fourth or fifth time, where it's going to really resonate with the listeners to hopefully help them out in life.
What triggered you to begin this?
I love listening to podcasts. I'm not that I'm perfect at it. I'm always looking to better myself. I'm also a junkie of looking at too many things to try and better myself without sometimes not implementing, to be honest. But because I just want to improve. I just want to improve so bad. It's hard to do everything.
Right, dude. Stop. Wait. We got to pause on that. That's you and I in the same boat. It's something that we're looking always to improve, so you get a lot of information. I dig it.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard, right? When you're like that. It's a flaw, it's a curse, and also a good thing, because you're one.
I agree. I completely agree.
Yeah. So that's what it's about. I just thought of this myself, and I've been wanting to do it. Not that I'm some famous podcaster, but maybe I just want to help people. I'm at that stage in my life where I want to just kind of give back. Not about just making money, just what can I do to give back to other people. I've been fortunate. I've been given a lot. So
I dig that. And Scott, you bring me up to part of me what my goal is as one of the hosts in Makers Bar, and in the interviews that I've had, is want to give back. I want to learn what's the next phase, and I think in meeting some of the incredible people I have through the interviews on Makers Bar, and like yourself and others, we want to do something else that's contributing, and our goal is to do that. And I'd like to be able to support your podcast as much as possible. Do you have a launch date for your podcast?
I feel like the launch date is, because I have 3 more recordings set up. I want to have 5 ready to go before I launch, so they're all ready. I feel like it's going to be March 1st. It could be sooner, but that's what I feel like the date's going to be, is March 1st. That's my goal date. So March 1st to have everything going, and then every week a really solid interview going out.
Well, we'd like to stay abreast of that, and we'd like to be able to participate and help and support you as much as possible.
I love that. Thank you so much. Yeah, nobody told you
Absolutely.
this. Yeah.
No, and Scott didn't even tell us this today. Nobody told us about it. Nobody told you this.
Right, right. Thank you for asking, by the way. I'm excited.
For sure, for sure. Well,
Yeah.
no, I'm extremely excited. Are you going to mention anything about secrets to being a dad?
Yeah, absolutely. By the way, I don't want to give it away, but one of my podcasts, my next podcast I'm doing it's from a young lady. I think she's 28, 29. She's got a very big following. It's called, her business is called, oh my gosh, something Girl Dad. It's called Girl Dad. And
Yeah.
she's amazing. What fathers of girls should know and experience, that maybe it's hard. I have girls, so it's like you're kind of figuring it out on your own. She's an amazing young entrepreneur, and she's got a nice following, and she's got a book out. So it's called Girl Dad, and I'm really excited to have her on there. So yes, absolutely.
Well, hopefully, Scott, you keep us abreast, and this is not going to be the last time we stay in contact. My goal is through Makerspark continue to build a team of people inclusive of podcasters and people who are making things, and that's what our goal is. So hopefully, we'll be able to support you before the launch and have you back on and/or mention it any way I can do support for the Scott Zimmerman podcast. We'd like to be able to do that as well.
I love it. I want you on I want you to be a guest on my podcast for sure.
You know what? I was just hoping I was going to tune in my earplug to make sure I heard that invitation. But
Absolutely, you're on my list, man. You're on my list, man. Yeah.
But Scott, no, seriously, I said originally when I saw a number of information about you in your bio, dad and father and husband and investor, and I mentioned earlier, those are things that are key, I think, to the heart of our our soul in our projects with podcasting. And you mentioned it also with insurance. And I love you mission. And those are where I come from. I love you as the foundational portion of my work and feeling like that's in everything, particularly now in these days where people have some uncertainty. That's doing things where we feel there's an I love you to it, creating patterns and pathways for more love in our world to build more communities. And my goal, like with the Scott Zimmerman podcast, with your life insurance organization, some of the people that we work with, is to continue to build on these teams that we can find a collective and purpose and utilize all our skills and our resources for some greater good in this next phase of life. As I see today, we're accepting our new president. And what are we going to do is my thought. What are we going to do with our faith, with our resources, with our aptitudes, with our family lives? And now that we've turned this corner of election, how can we be more beneficial to each other, more supportive of each other? So Makerspark is here to support you. I definitely am going to have some off-camera questions about life insurance because you brought up some other stuff I need to check out. But my thought is, Scott, where does a spirituality play a role if it does? Is there a spiritual mantra you follow? Is there a wisdom, a thought pattern that you live your life by? I tend to ask people toward the end of the interview, if you have a spirituality, describe it to us.
Yeah, I do. My spirituality is, I do believe in a higher power for sure. And, for me, when it comes to insurance or just life, not that I'm perfect. I think about, something bigger than myself, always just trying my hardest to do the right thing. Always. I like to sleep well at night. I do my best, but I feel like just always doing the right thing, um, takes care of a lot of things. I'm not going to, I don't want to get too heavy into religion or whatnot, but I also believe in karma. Doing the right thing kind of comes around, goes around. And again, I'm far from perfect, but I do really try to do the right thing all the time.
And so that would be your spiritual belief that you go by.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then if you had to give a piece of advice you had to give to new dads, new fathers, what would that be?
Okay, this is good. I didn't know you were going to ask me this. I would say, as a new,
supposed to.
Yeah, I know. As a new dad, I remember just I was always there for my kids. I really was. I wanted to be at everything. But there was a period where I worked really, really, really hard. And sometimes, as I would say, I, I was there a lot, but I wish I didn't work as hard or take away from certain things that I didn't need to when it came to work, when I was more being at home on time for the kids or just being really, really present as much as possible. And, it makes me sad in a weird way. Like, I'm very happy. I'm very close to my children. I think I was the best dad I could. I think I was a great dad, actually. And they would say the same thing, but it's sad. Now they're older and they haven't lived with me for a long time. They went through college. They both have lived in different states really far from me. So I wish I really, really took everything in at all times, the better than I did. And I did do a good job, but if I was going to tell somebody, a new dad, like, take it in, it happens quick. It is over before you know it. And I don't know, to me, it was the best thing I've ever, everything is my kids. That's the best thing ever. So that's what I would say is just like, really just take it in. It happens so quick. And, we get older too. And it's time. Life is short. Life is super short. It doesn't seem like it when you're younger, but man, I'm 57. I'm approaching 60. I don't feel it at all. But you only got so much time in your life, right? So I would really pick and choose what's really, really important. I think your family and your loved ones, that are it. Not just, it's a personal opinion for sure.
You know what? Pardon me. I couldn't find a better way for a portion of our closing statement. That's the better way. And as a dad, I'm glad you said it because I think that's what I would pick had I thought about it. You said it best. Having my sons and my granddaughter, I think take it in. I really like that you said that because we do get really bogged down in work and trying to provide out of love, but you want to be able to have some time to take it in. And I appreciate those words, Scott, so
Yeah.
much. I really do. Scott, where can people contact you to learn more?
Yeah, feel free to reach out to me anytime. I'll give my email and my my phone number, but my email is scott@corpstrat.com. That's CORP as in Paul, STRAT.com. And then my phone number, feel free to reach out to me, 818-481-9342. And I'm on social media, Facebook, Scott Zimmerman, Instagram, The Real Scott Zimmerman. I'm on LinkedIn, Scott Zimmerman. So you can find me anywhere. And I really, really appreciate it. I had a great time today, and I really appreciate you having me. And it means a lot you picked me, and I really appreciate it.
Scott, I got to tell you, dude, you're my brother already. I just, like I said, when I saw your thing, and then even your smile, I just appreciate your smile to the audience and to me. I just knew sometimes kindred spirits just have the opportunity to meet, and they immediately go like this. Yeah, I dig you. We got something. And
Yeah.
so I just want to be supportive of everything that you're doing. I know we're going to have more conversations coming up. I appreciate the dad bond that we have. I appreciate your entrepreneurship and the time you took out with us. And I can't tell you, I'm looking forward to when you come out here and we can share equipment and or a drink and or a laugh. I got to tell you, it was an extreme pleasure. I really feel, and some people might think about life insurance as not the subject they might be interested in, but I think these are important subjects, not only for the entrepreneurial interest of whether or not it's a good business, but I think these are topics that we must get more information on to help improve the status of our lives and our loved ones. So I'm glad you touched on that subject. I really appreciate you sharing your information where people can reach you. And it's been a pleasure. You took out time today, and I know you're traveling, so I want to thoroughly appreciate you taking out the time, Scott. Picking you, I'd like to humbly thank you for picking Maker's Bar to share your expertise with us. We value that and appreciate that so much, buddy. I can't even tell you. And I'm looking forward to our friendship growing in the future from here.
Absolutely. Thank you, Seth. I really appreciate it. It's fun.
It's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. Ladies and gentlemen of the Maker's Bar audience, this is another one of my favorite guests, I got to say. So we didn't get to do all the jokes and laughters, that's some of the stuff, but I got to tell you, meeting Scott and speaking with him and his expertise definitely gave me a smile. And not only that, but there's a couple little side notes that make me laugh even more. So I definitely appreciate Scott being here and safe journeys on his trip home. I've often tried to end Make a Spar segments when we interview people with reminding you that the revolution begins with you. It is the love illusion. I'd like to change that a little bit today by saying, make us for our audience, please get in touch with some of our guests and what they're doing because it helps support them creating the 1 million leaders. Scott Zimmerman is one of those gentlemen. We like opportunities for our young people in professions where they can create a successful career path for them. And life insurance is one of them, in addition to the advice he gave as a dad. So, your guy Seth Garu Baxter with the biggest for our audience, suggesting to you one more time, love illusion is the revolution and it begins with you. We are so appreciative of Scott being with us today and you joining us again on Make Us Mark. We love you, we appreciate you, and we're sending God's blessing to all of those. Happy MLK Day. Thank you for participating with us on Make Us Bar. We love you, Scott. We're looking forward to all the great things you're going to do. Here at Make Us Bar, we're looking forward to seeing you next time. Take good care, people. We love you. One love. Scott, good day.
Thank you.
You guys, brother.
That was awesome, man.
Oh, hold on.
Okay.